We're going to make this chicken, rice, and pasta dish. We'll start out with about a 12-ounce chicken breast, a half a cup of long grain white rice, a half a cup of orzo pasta, a third of a cup of diced yellow onion, a third of a cup of celery, and an assortment of spices, which I'll list in the description below. We'll also be using some olive oil, a little spray oil, some chicken broth, and a skillet with a tight-fitting lid. Let's start by cutting up the chicken breast into about 1-inch cubes. Then we'll add some spray oil along with some olive oil. Drop our chicken into that. No need to marinate. And we'll cook the chicken for a while till it starts releasing its moisture and changes color. This process goes on for a while. To get to this point is about 5 minutes. Next, we'll add the onion. We'll add the diced onion and the celery at this point. And then we'll stir them and cook them until softened. Once again, in about 3 or 4 minutes. We get to this point. As you can see, the chicken, the celery, and the onion are all releasing moisture. I wish you could smell it. Now we'll add our spices. We can add them all at once. And then we'll stir that around and kind of get the spices toasted and married with the other ingredients. Now, if your pan is too dry, it is certainly okay to add a little bit more olive oil. And you can use different oils. It doesn't have to be olive oil. It's just what I had on hand, and I kind of like it. Now we'll add the rice and the pasta, the orzo. We'll mix that up. And once again, if your pan is too dry, feel free to add a little bit more oil. Things are kind of fluid in the ingredient list here. It's kind of a clean out your refrigerator and just cook it on up. Once you do this a few times, you'll understand what I mean. You should have enough oil to kind of lightly coat the rice and the pasta. Now we'll just cook that. As you can see, I'm adding a little bit more oil here. And we'll cook this mixture. We'll keep stirring it because we do not want it to burn. But we'll cook it for this is after about 4 minutes. And you can see that the rice was getting a little bit translucent, but you want the rice to look a little cooked, a little translucent, and the orzo to get a little color. Kind of like what you would see with Rice-A-Roni. I generally don't take it too dark. Now, this is after about 7 or 8 minutes, and everything is looking good. We've got the orzo taking on some color. The rice is well on its way. The chicken and celery and onions have cooked about halfway through. Now next, we'll add the liquid, which would be chicken broth in this case. because we're making with chicken. If you were making it with pork, I would still use chicken broth. But if you were cooking with beef instead, I would add definitely beef broth. Now here I'm going to add 3 cups of chicken broth. And that may sound like a little more than what's needed for the 1 cup total of rice and pasta, but it really will take it all. And we're going to cook it for a while. We're going to boil it for a while uncovered. So after that 3 cups, we'll start stirring this in really well. And as we do, kind of lightly scrape the bottom of the pan as it comes up to a boil. That'll bring the font from the bottom that's cooked, the spices and the chicken and the vegetables, the little brown bits on the bottom. It'll bring it up and it'll add flavor to the broth. Looks pretty tasty already. And we just keep stirring it. I did this for about 10 minutes. And it's coming to a boil. The whole boiling time was about 7 minutes or so. But now we're getting to the point to where we can go ahead and let it cook on its own. The chicken broth is quite thin and won't burn anymore to the bottom. So we have a good simmer, and we put a lid on it. That's a tight-fitting lid. And we'll turn it down so that it doesn't overflow. Temperature-wise, I start out cooking the chicken on about a medium temperature. My stove burners go from 1 to 11, and so right about in the middle. Bringing it to a boil, I'm up 3/4 of the way, and then when I return it to a simmer, I'm down around 2 or 3. Now, it's totally done at this point. It looks pretty tasty. Seasons well. I've already tested it for seasoning. So we'll just make ourselves a little dish here for lunch. And there it is. Thank you very much for watching. She loves papers and boxes from Amazon. Well, all 3 of us hope to see you back soon.